A court in Hong Kong is due to sentence 3 pro-democracy activists after they pleaded guilty to charges relating to last year's anti-government protests. Leading pro-democracy activist Joshua Wong is appearing alongside Agnes Chow and Ivan Lam for inciting an illegal assembly. In June, Beijing imposed a national security law on Hong Kong after the territory was rocked by mass protests. Critics say the law is being used to silence dissidents. Well, let's go straight to Hong Kong and speak with DW correspondent Phoebe Kong. OK, that's clearly not Phoebe Kong there. Let's see if we can... there she is. Welcome, Phoebe. What more can you tell us about this verdict?
Well, we haven't got the verdict yet. The court hearing has already started less than an hour ago, but we're still waiting for the judge to announce the actual judgment. And as you have mentioned in the report, Joshua Wong is now facing 3 charges, including inciting and organizing and also taking part in an unapproved assembly back in June in 2019, shortly since the massive anti-government movements broke out last year. So Joshua Wong decided to plead guilty to the first 2 charges, including inciting and organizing the unauthorized assembly, while the prosecutor agreed to offer no evidence to the 3rd charge. So Joshua Wong is now facing up to 2 convictions, and which could bring him, send him behind bars for up to 5 years. So we're still waiting for the verdict. And also the 2 other leading activists, they also pleaded guilty to the charges they face. So we're still waiting for the verdict. And Joshua Wong has already mentioned before that he is not optimistic to the sentence, that he expected the sentence will be much heavier than those he faced in the past.
OK. Phoebe, stay with us and we'll find out more about Joshua Wong and then we'll come back to you.
Hong Kong 2014. The umbrella movement takes to the streets. 4 months of protests spurred by a government plan to pre-screen candidates for local elections. Joshua Wong was front and center. Everybody here has to stay alert. This demonstration has been peaceful and the police haven't bothered us much. But now they've brought tear gas and plastic bullets. We have to do all we can to protect ourselves. He was arrested at the age of 17. Wong became an international political figure. In 2016, he founded a new political party, Demosisto, aiming to define Hong Kong's long-term future. Wong himself was too young to be a candidate, though that didn't stop him from trying to run for office. In 2019, he was jailed for 2 months, but went free in time to join widespread protests over a proposed new extradition law to mainland China. This time around, the demonstrations were much more violent. Wong was arrested, along with thousands of others. In July 2020, things went from bad to worse for pro-democracy activists. China passed a new security law for Hong Kong that made Wong's Demosisto party illegal. The party disbanded and Wong went to trial for his activities in last year's protests. Undeterred, he told DW in a recent interview he would not back down.
Prison bars never stopped me from activism and thinking critically. Even in such difficult timing, more than 10,000 Hong Kongers were arrested since last summer, and 2,000 people, including me, were prosecuted. It's still important for us to stay and fight.
Despite his defiance, Wong's sentence will likely keep him out of the public eye for several years.
Let's pick up that point with Phoebe Kong in Hong Kong. Phoebe, we're presuming that he's going to be, the 3 of them are going to be sentenced to jail. What sort of terms are they looking at?
Well, the charges they are facing is inciting and organizing an unauthorized assembly, which carries a maximum sentence of 5 years. And they're facing more than 1 charges. That means they could face more than 5 years if they have to serve the sentence separately. But we are still waiting for the actual verdict. So it's not clear that like exactly how many years they're going to face like behind bars, but it's quite likely they will sent to jail. And we have to bear in mind that like this is not the first time for Joshua Wong to be imprisoned. He has already been jailed for 2 times, like over the past 2 years, because of the charges he faced back in the umbrella movement. But that only brought him like 2 to 3 months jail sentence in the past. But this time he expected that he will be sent to jail for like over a year or maybe several years. So this is like the expectation, and given the circumstances in Hong Kong nowadays, that people are really like not optimistic that the court may try to impose a heavier sentence to like to deter people from committing such crimes in the future.
Right, because this is clearly Beijing sending a very clear message about the Hong Kong democracy.
Yeah, and this will be another major blow and setback to the opposition camp as well. Like while the Beijing would see it as a kind of like victory that for them to the crackdown on the opposition and anti-government movement, and also the leading activists like Joshua Wong is the most high-profile figures to be sentenced to jail. Like if he is today, that he will be the most like high-profile leading activist to be jailed since the massive anti-government movement last year. So this is really like an iconic and landmark sentence in Hong Kong today.
Okay, Phoebe Kong in Hong Kong, thank you. Straight to Hong Kong then to speak with a member of the protest movement there. He doesn't want to reveal his identity, so we're calling him Connor. Welcome to DW. What's likely to happen today?
Sorry. You mean about the courts?
In courts, yes.
Right, yeah. So I don't think the courts will be ruling in their favor. And once again, Joshua, along with his other comrades, are being made martyrs of the larger movement. But despite all this sadness, I think he put it very well. It's important for us now to keep our heads clear and to move forward, because backing down is not an option anymore.
Have you had any contact with any of the activists being sentenced today?
No, I haven't.
Right. So how worried then are you about your own safety?
Well, I think most Hong Kongers would be, and especially having participated in this movement, I guess my level of fear would be on par with most other Hong Kongers that have also been actively participating. But it's more about, there's more anger than fear, I'd say, having seen what's been happening for the past week.
So given the crackdowns that is happening, given the law changes that are happening, can your pro-democracy fight continue?
Definitely, yeah. I think domestic resistance has changed its form, but it's still going very strong, very much so. Although Joshua Wong and other more prominent figures are arrested, I do believe, and I have seen, that a lot of other independent actors are still working about to push this movement forward in the city. And aside from that, on the international stage, a lot of good work is being done by such as the ex-Demosisto member, Nathan Law. People like them are still fighting hard abroad. So, yeah, there's hope, I think.
OK, but we're in a time of COVID now when lots of governments are acting against crowds gathering. So what sort of resistance can you put up under these sort of circumstances?
Thank you. So even though crowd gatherings are now banned, and it might seem like everything has now quieted down, I think organizing people in preparation for eventual end of the lockdown, for even larger voices to be heard, that is something that can be done. So organizing beforehand, I think a lot of that work can be done now.
China is clearly not going to back down on this. Why are you continuing?
Yes. Well, there really are, for me personally, I can't speak for anyone, but the first thing would be, it's a duty to serve our larger Hong Kong nation, I think. In the past year, it's been felt in the hearts and minds of the Hong Kong people, this sense of nationhood. And so at this point, more than out of empathy and sympathy for the protesters, it's more of a duty to serve, I think. And that's the motivation that's keeping us forward. And yes, it's a hard fight. China's cracking down on us, and not just us, on Australia and on a lot of other sovereign nations as well. But yeah, it only shows how afraid the tyrannical government is now. They are now losing their patience, losing their calm, and this is now our time to strike, I think.
So, given that, I just wonder how long you can continue this fight, because, again, clearly Beijing has more time and more resources and is determined that it must win this battle.
Yes. So, of course, our time is very limited, and that's why we have to act faster. We see that a lot of brainwashing work is being done in our education system in Hong Kong. And I think it's fair to say that these couple of generations of passionate youths are the last generations of passionate youths that we will see. And yeah, I think as soon as these couple of generations die out, the movement will probably end with that. And I mean, because there's nobody else left here to sustain the unity of the nation. But yeah, but there is hope, I think.
Right.
We just have to, yeah.
OK, well, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.